Okay, welcome back, everybody. This is the one and only See You at 6. I don't know why I'm talking like this. I just am because I'm tired. It is 12 o'clock at night. It's midnight. Um, you know, I said to myself that I probably wouldn't make any more butterfly soup content because I just found the second game hard to make interesting. And what I mean by that is anything after Akarsha Noelle, which I'm like 90% sure I've already uploaded. I don't really check a lot of my videos, and I have the memory of a goldfish on Percocets. Okay, I did upload both of them. So I'm not saying that the Min and Dia plotline for Butterfly Soup 2 is boring. It's just that it's just like repeating and this is just my opinion. It just repeats what's already been said in the first game since we spent so much time with them. But the second game felt fresh and new, because we never really got to spend a lot of time with Akarsha or Dia. But this second game, we get to spend a lot of time with them. And what I want to talk to you about now is showing how much attention Noelle pays to Akarsha. Now you may be asking, Six, what do you mean by that? She doesn't really seem to pay a lot of attention. Just look at the first game. She doesn't really even really like her like that, right? But that's just how it seems, right? I've been told by my mom, you never really let the person know that you're like looking at them in like a romantic kind of way. You never let the person know that you're interested in them. You look from a distance, essentially, not even like in a stalking way, but like you just gotta look from a distance, because then if they know that you like them like that, things are gonna get awkward, right? And I feel like that's kind of what Noelle did. So let me lay the story down. We open the first game and it's Min and Akarsha making the birthday cake for Noelle. It's Noelle's birthday and they're throwing a surprise party. While Dia goes and essentially drags Noelle to Akarsha's house, right? Normal situation. We've all been here. It's just another Thursday. Anyway, let's see. What else do I want to say? Unless I want to feel like skipping straight to it. I really don't. Yes, I do. They're all playing games, but then Akarsha's parents come by with groceries for the party. And, they offer to help. Just Akarsha and Noelle. And, they have a bit of one-on-one time. Just Akarsha and Noelle talking together. But before they actually got to have said one-on-one time, before they got to actually have any one-on-one time with them, with each other, I should say, they had to obviously help their parents out with the groceries, like I mentioned before. And this is very important. Noelle only has an about 3-minute 30 conversation, give or take a few seconds, with Akarsha's parents. But even during that short amount of time, Noelle claims that it explained a lot about her, to which obviously Akarsha would ask her to explain, because that just sounds, confusing without any context. Noelle says that she sees where Akarsha gets her sense of humor from, because parents have such, a strong influence on their kids because they're, around them 24/7. But Akarsha tries to deny it. And not gonna lie, I lost my place in my notes. Okay, I see. Akarsha doesn't really, I shouldn't say she doesn't want to be understood, but she feels like she can't be understood. So she says that she's just like, an enigma that can never really be understood. But Noelle quickly shoots that kind of idea down. It was kind of dumb in the first place, if you ask me. But this is where it starts to get juicy, and in my opinion, very important. And this really affected me, and it's kind of why I love the second game so much more than the first game. Noelle quickly gets to reading Akarsha like a book, man. She explains that Akarsha's biggest fear is her trying to do something with her whole heart and still failing, despite, trying her hardest. And because of that, she uses her goofy nature, you could say, to make a fool of herself and cover over the fact that she's extremely intelligent. Like Akarsha said, I think either later in the game or in the first game, she kind of, or I don't know if she said it all, but this is just something I've heard. She sets the bar kind of really low. That way, when she does the bare minimum, people are really proud of her, if that makes sense. And Noelle gives examples where she is just making a fool of herself. Like when they play cards, any card game, she just eats the cards. And Akarsha tries to shoot those facts down with just, the classic, oh, I'm just trying to liven things up, which isn't necessarily false, but as Noelle brings up, it's the fact that her disposition kind of extends to every facet of how she presents herself to the world. And those are kind of Noelle's words. Let me put on my, theorizing cap for a second. But I find it interesting that she used the words, I should say, facet instead of, aspect here. So the sentence would read more like, oh my God, I'm having a brain fart. It would read more like, it extends to every aspect of how you present yourself to the world. But she decided to use the word facet, despite them meaning sort of the same thing. Except facet is something to describe one side of something with many sides, something complex. But it's usually used to describe a gemstone. So I feel like she's hinting at her feelings for Akarsha by calling her a gemstone. But that's enough theories from me, because you don't want to hear my theories. But you like hearing me talk, apparently. I hit 10 hours. I don't know if I talked about that. I hit 10 hours. Anyway, I'll talk about that later because that sounds confusing. She continues after the fact of essentially calling Akarsha a gemstone. She continues after that by saying how Akarsha is insecure about her physical appearance, which Akarsha has herself talked about when you get to play as her. And I think it happened the first time you talked to Dia in the second game. She says that she wishes she was pretty like Dia so she doesn't have to rely on being funny to get people to even be interested in her. But we're talking about what Noelle said. Noelle is talking about how Akarsha doesn't really like her physical appearance, so she distracts people from that by wearing her hair in, the classic space buns that we see her with, and a windbreaker with flip-flops, which is the most incoherent fit I've ever seen. And you should see some of the things I wore in early middle school to late elementary. I sucked at dressing, but even to me, that outfit just sucked. And she even reiterates the fact that Akarsha's worried people won't like her, so she acts like a clown to make people laugh and not focus on the qualities she deems herself as, quote, bad. And on top of that, rather than risk rejection, face heartbreak, and, grow as a person, she decides to set herself up for failure to feel kind of in control of a situation, right? Akarsha tries to make a rebuttal by saying Noelle also has a fear of failure because she argues with the teacher over multiple choice answers being technically correct. But Noelle says that because of that fact, it makes her more observant to people with the same trait. Kind of like a takes on a B1 kind of thing. Right? But this is kind of where it ends on Noelle's side, I mean. And we get to see Akarsha's thoughts. She is obviously surprised by how much attention Noelle pays to her without her really knowing. And I feel like that the situation showed how much of a caring person Noelle really is. And no matter how much she has to put up with Akarsha's antics, right? Because let's be honest, they're very annoying. or no matter how much he says he doesn't like her, deep down, Noelle pays a lot of attention, like the utmost attention, to Akarsha without her really knowing. Which, in my opinion, is how things are supposed to be done. Like, if you're still trying to figure out if you really like have a crush on them, or if it's kind of like an infatuation thing, you really shouldn't like let them know. But like, you really shouldn't let them know that you're trying to like look at them in that kind of way, right? But that's not what we're here to talk about. A really neat, oh yeah, a really neat fact I picked up while I was browsing the Butterfly Super Wiki. Don't ask. Was that Noelle already kind of knew or kind of suspected that Akarsha was depressed. Because again, she pays a lot of attention to Akarsha. But if you remember Akarsha's little outburst in the gym during the first game while they were looking for Noelle, while they were looking for Min and Dia, Noelle actually heard all of that, and it really worried her. And you may be asking, well, Six, if she cared about her so much, why didn't she go in? And to that I say, I don't know, man. But if you wanted my opinion, I'd say it's because she wanted to respect Akarsha's privacy and not interrupt and make things awkward. Kind of like how she did with talking to Akarsha one-on-one, instead of bringing it up in front of, Min and Dia, making things awkward and kind of invading her privacy, And to many, well, to some, I should say, or I guess I could say to many, this may seem rude and like an invasion of privacy, right? And I can kind of understand that. But she did it unknowingly. But again, I can still kind of understand that. And then again, to others, it may seem like a dumb decision to kind of bring up her, quote, bad qualities to someone she really likes. But to many others, myself included, who have read an ungodly amount of romance manga and watched an ungodly amount of romance anime and TV shows, yet still somehow managed to have a horrible love life, this shows how much of a caring person she is and how much she cares for and shares with Akarsha, not only as a friend, but also as a lover. Because I mean, man, just like think about it. You wouldn't do this for somebody you view as just a friend, right? And like obviously, there's no shame if you do. I'm just trying to speak generally. And from my point of view, I wouldn't do this kind of deep dive thing for somebody that's just my friend. I would do that for somebody that I'm like genuinely in love with and would consider dating. I would be over the moon with dating, I should say. So that's kind of why I think this whole thing wasn't just Noelle being, obsequious and paying a lot of attention just to pay a lot of attention to Akarsha. I feel like she paid a lot of attention because she really cherishes and really loves Akarsha. Not gonna lie, still don't know how to end a video. Someone please help me. Oh, yeah. Post a video, yeah. I don't know if I talked about it in one of my other videos or like I'll just put it in the description, but your boy just hit 10 hours watched. Y'all have watched 10 hours of my videos. And I want to like thank y'all for that because I didn't really get to. I just had to put it in like the description of like my last video. And I felt kind of bad for not being able to talk about it because I was going to make a video on Dia, but again, I just found it boring. And correction, 25 hours watched. You all have been like a major support for me. I'm not gonna lie. And I'm not gonna lie, I want to continue growing with y'all and like becoming a better and bigger YouTuber, Um, but this video is probably becoming like super long. Yeah, it's like 15 minutes. I'm gonna wrap up this yap session. I wish you all a good day, morning, night, whatever. And keep being you. You know, man, go do that deep dive on the person you love and let them know you love them. And this has been Dating Advice with Kai. I'll see you later. Maybe at 6 or something.